So, CD Projekt Red has given us a big update on the next installment of the Witcher series. And this time they're going epic. Nice little line there, Sweeney. In a blog update, CDPR say the next game will kick off a new saga. They'll be moving on to the proprietary, moving off from their proprietary REDengine to Unreal Engine 5 as part of a multi-year strategy partnership with Epic Games. And they have confirmed that the next game will not be exclusive to Epic Game Store on PC. Can I just say on that before I throw to you, in general on this one, but I find it hilarious that was almost the key takeaway in everyone's post, apart from, hey, Witcher 4 is coming, as if we didn't know that it was basically just someone tweeted at them. It's like, oh, if this is going to be Epic exclusive, I'm not buying it, F off or whatever. And then their PR replied to that person and go, nope, it's not going to be exclusive. I'm like, how is this not in their original PR note?
I know.
This is massive. This is a huge sensitivity for people. So I just thought that was a bit weird, but you must be excited.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get any news about the next Witcher. I know we're still waiting for the next gen versions, which are apparently due in this quarter or coming quarter, I should say.
Because that's PC as well, right? Because I've got Witcher on PC.
I believe so, but I don't know what.
Okay.
There's obviously a lot of mods out. There's a lot of mods out there. I think the big difference in those next gen ones you're going to see are obviously on the consoles.
I'm not a big fan of mods. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was 20 years ago with Quake, but not now.
So yeah, this is a bit of a swan song then for this engine, which has done them well. Obviously, no. So look, the thing is, right, it's done them well because they've been using it since Witcher 2, right?
Sure.
So they've basically, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, and obviously Cyberpunk. And now Cyberpunk, obviously they had a lot of issues, and I think this makes so much sense for them to do it. It means that they can focus on building the worlds and focusing on the game development as opposed to the actual engine development, and having to kind of fine tune that, and I guess offloading a lot of the support because they've specifically said the Epic will be assisting in the support as they do with obviously being a partner, an Epic partner. I think this is a great move, but yeah, it's almost like end of an era for CD Projekt Red in terms of the REDengine. And to clarify, they did say that Cyberpunk expansion that they're working on and everything will continue to use that engine.
Of course,
they're changing on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this is a great move.
Yeah, no, I think the engine thing, people overplay that. I think if you listen to a lot of devs talk about engines, 99% of them will say the best engine to use is the last one that you used. But having said that, the whole industry is moving to homogenization with these engines because, Epic have way more resourcing than CDPR, and they're a very small studio. So to maintain their own engine plus make a game as big as I'd imagine The Witcher 4 will be, and I'm sure they're going to look at a game like Elden Ring and go, okay, we took kind of Skyrim to a degree as a bit of a benchmark of okay, we want to excel and be better than this and not have boring fetch quests and make every side quest interesting. I feel like the energy of that studio will be all right, Elden Ring, we're going to do something different, better than you, right? Which is great. I love that. Competition's awesome. And I think overall, they'll have teething issues, obviously, with Unreal Engine 5, but I think in the long run, it'll be much better for that studio because then they can just focus on what they're good at rather than worrying about an engine. And, they had so many issues with the last gen of consoles with streaming, in data, with their engine, whereas Unreal Engine does that so much smarter than what they were doing. So, and I did confirm the Witcher 3 next gen edition will have a standalone purchase, it's kind of like a new version of it for PC series and PS5, and then free upgrades for those who have it on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. So that's cool. Yeah. So I do want to come back to this game. I played it only a little bit, and I'm like, well, I feel like I might as well just wait for the next gen update then, and I'll have ray tracing and faster loading and everything like that. So
yeah, and this also came with a teaser image, which has kind of set a lot of people, talking about what is this actually going to be, because they specifically said, as you mentioned, kicking off a new saga. Witcher 3 very much in a lot of ways was, wrapping up Geralt's story, and obviously I won't get into spoiler territory, but it makes sense that this is focused on a different, I guess,
Main protagonist, or
main protagonist,
maybe.
and potentially different, even like setting in the timeline, whether or not it's earlier than the games, whether or not it runs alongside the events of the books, which take place before the games or afterwards. But the teaser image that they showed was actually of a cat-like medallion, basically like a Lynx medallion. And in the Witcher games, for anyone who doesn't know, there's different schools of witches. So you've got, School of the Wolf, School of the Bear, and all this stuff. And the Lynx, there's no School of the Lynx. But what CD Projekt Red did in the games, they actually introduced new schools that didn't exist in the books. So it sounds like that they're setting this in a, potentially around a brand new school, which means potentially it won't even be starring Ciri as the main protagonist, which a lot of people would have expected after Witcher 3, because you do play as Ciri throughout that as well in certain segments. I didn't know that. Yeah, so basically she, like, with that in mind, people are like, well, it makes sense for her to continue on. But as a character, Ciri is so ridiculously overpowered that it kind of would have been a bit awkward to in my opinion, to star her as a main protagonist and try to explain why she's not like the most powerful person around,
It'd have to be that annoying kind of Metroidvania trope of like, but she's now got a, curse, so she's not quite as powerful.
So
I hate that shit.
To me, it makes sense that they almost, whether or not they kind of try to, build a new protagonist off of an existing character that they introduced, or a new one, who knows. But it is an interesting place to be. They can almost do exactly anything they want in that regard, because they're not even tied to Geralt anymore.
It's funny with that, because you and I like that stuff, but we're very against the grain. I think most people hate that shit when there's a new main character, you know what I mean? Like, it was never a criticism for me with Star Wars, the new sequel trilogy. Like, I'm fine. Like, okay, great, new protagonist and everything. I'm like cool with it. Like, they have to be good, right? So, but yeah, okay, interesting. Well, this is 2026 though. This game.
Yeah. The good thing is they haven't called the series is not called the Geralt. Like a Witcher is a generic term, so they've got a good caveat there in regards to taking it in new directions.
That's true. Yeah, no, this will be your most anticipated game of 2026. I'm guessing.
Potentially, yeah.
Could actually be going up against something like Elder Scrolls 6, which would be that'd be amazing.
Who knows? Maybe 2026 will be the year of Elix 3.
True. So, and then the other one is
competition.
Oh, one thing I did find out about Elden Ring, not that we could ever move off it, is that I didn't realize that they made Sekiro and Elden Ring simultaneously.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Which makes perfect sense. I was like, okay, that's interesting about their cycles. So are they going like 2 games at the same time, overlapping or something? So
Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2 did. And
yeah, but that was different directors though. This was like the same director.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, they've have dual development before.
Sure. Yeah, no, they've been doing that for a long time, but it was more like having the same director that I thought was interesting. All right, let's move on to the next story.